Ready for another session in Adobe InDesign, and what we'll be looking at this time is a real quick session on text wrapping. Sometimes when you're working on an InDesign document, you want to put a picture right in the middle of some text, but you got to get the text to wrap around the picture, and so that's what today is all about. First of all, you will find on Drive L on the courses drive, I do have a quick little summary of this assignment. It's a little 25 pointer here. There is an InDesign document that you'll open up this time. You're going to start with a document, and then you're going to place some photos in it, and then you got to set the wrapping options. All right, so that's what this is all about. You open a document, put some pictures into the document, and then set the text wrapping options to make it work. All right, required, you got to add one photo for each section of the document. I'll show you what that's all about here in a minute. You got to set the wrapping option, and then you're going to have to drag it and drop it, the final finished product, into your turn-in folder. A few assignment notes for you. There is a text wrapping panel that we're going to open up, and it really makes things quite a bit easier, so I would recommend that you use it. And when you're working with the pictures, you select the picture that you want, and then you can use that text wrapping panel or that text wrapping window to set the wrapping options that you desire. Now, if by chance you see, if you remember back on the threading exercise that we did, if you put in a picture and it makes some overflow indicators appear at the bottom of a text column, we're not going to worry about that on this assignment. If you get some overflow indicators, ignore them for right now. Really what we're concentrating on is the text wrapping. All right, you'll have to save your work on your network drive on Drive H, but then you drag it and drop it into your turn-in folder like always. I'm going to hop over to InDesign. The file that you're going to use has a title page at the beginning of it that looks like this, Dr. Seuss Character Profiles. And then we have a spread. If you look over here on my pages panel, we have a page 2 and 3 spread that looks like this. I'll pull this over a little bit so you can see it a little bit more. And it has some of the, the more famous Dr. Seuss characters, the Cat in the Hat, the Grinch, Thing 1, Thing 2. And you can see those little pictures of those. Now the text in each one of these text frames, it's that kind of nonsense gibberish text, so it doesn't really say anything about the Cat in the Hat or whatever. But what we're going to work on doing is putting the pictures in and getting the wrapping to work. All right, so this is kind of how it will look like at the end. All right, so let's go to work on this. I'm going to go ahead and close this copy of it. This is kind of a finished copy of it. I'm just going to go ahead and close it, and I'll not save it for right now. Now, what you'll be able to do once you start InDesign, if you click Open, and there's an Open option right here on this middle panel. We've done a lot of creating new documents, but there's also a button here that says Open. Now you can also go up to the File menu and click Open and browse around and find the document you want that way. All right, so either way that you want to do it is fine, but I'm just going to click Open right here, and what you'll want to do is get to the courses drive, Drive L, and there will be a folder for this project, and here's what you need. It's called text wrapping. Okay, so I'll open that up. And it's like what I just showed you. I'm going to open up my Pages panel, and if I double click on page 1, there's the title page. That's what you just saw. I'll go down here to page 2, and here's the difference. It's everything that you just saw a moment ago, but it doesn't have the pictures in it. Now what I really want you to do, and I think in my example I had a picture up here by the title. It says a gallery of Seuss greats. I had a picture sitting up there. That's optional. You can do that if you want to, but you don't have to. All right, so here's what we can do. I want to put in a picture of the Cat in the Hat and put it someplace within this text that says the Cat in the Hat. All right, well, let's go to work on that. We know to get a picture, you go to File and you go to Place. Now what you can do in this case is once again go to that same folder on Drive L, and you'll find all these pictures in here. They're named accordingly, so I've got Cat in the Hat right here. All right, so I'll just take the Cat in the Hat and I'll open that up. I get this cursor. You know how this works. I get this cursor that kind of shows the picture, and I'll just, anywhere in this box, I'll just kind of drag it out for right now and just get it in there. I'm going to do an auto fit, and the options are up to you. You could give it a little bit of a black stroke if you want to have a frame around it or whatever. Now here's where that text wrapping comes in. I'm going to go to the window menu, and I'm going to get text wrap right here, and there you go, a little floating panel. All right, well, this picture is selected, and first of all, across the top of the text wrap panel, right now this is set on no text wrap at all. It's floating right over the top of the text. But I can wrap around bounding box. I can wrap around object shape. I can have the text do what's called jump the object or jump to the next column. And in most cases, I'm going to use this wrap around bounding box. Now, if you have something that's an unusual shape, it can look really cool to do this wraparound object shape. But in most cases, I'm just going to do this wraparound bounding box. Now, you'll see that the text is beginning to, it does look a little bit different. It's kind of wrapping around. All right, now, here are some things that these little, they look like almost like T's, up, down, right, left. And this little chain indicator means that they're locked together. This is kind of like padding around the picture. If I increase that a little bit, what that's going to do is give me a little more space around the picture. All right. And right now you'll see that if I increase one of them, all of them increase the same amount. I set one of them on 4 picas, then they're all set on 4 picas. Now you can also work with these options right here where it says wrap the object to the the right side, the left side, both right and left sides, toward the spine, away from the spine. I usually just leave that on both right and left sides. But you can experiment with that a little bit. And now you can move this picture around, and wherever you put it in here, the text ought to wrap around it, and it's doing a pretty decent job. Now, if you want to work with this padding without making them all the same, you can unlock it. You can break that chain right there, and you can increase some of this padding a little bit. Like if I wanted more padding on the left, I could do that kind of thing. 10's a little much, but you get the idea. All right, so I've got the cat in the hat in there. Well, all right, so it just becomes a matter of doing the same thing here. I got to do Horton and the Grinch and all. I'll do a few more. I don't think you need to watch me do all of them, but I'll click File and Place, and I want to go get another one. Well, I know I got to do the Grinch, so I'll get the Grinch picture, and I'll kind of drag it in here. All right, and I'm going to do the auto fit option up at the top, and I'm going to go ahead. I like to put a little border around it, but that's up to you. I'm going to just put not a terribly thick border, but a little border. Once again, I have this picture selected. I look over here at my text wrap window that I pulled out, and I want to set the wrapping option. Okay, well, again, I'm going to use this wraparound bounding box. Okay, looking good. And I might, right now, since I broke this in the last time I used it, and I could click it again to link that chain up, and all that does is make all 4 of these numbers always the same, or you can break it. And maybe what I want to do this time is give it a little bit more padding to the right of the picture, kind of like that. And I'll just move that picture over just a smidge, and that's looking pretty good to me. I'll just set it right there. Both right and left sides is okay with me. All right, looking good. All right, so I'll keep going. Let's do Horton the elephant. All right, so I'll go up here and I'll just deselect. I'm going to make sure that nothing is selected right now, and I'll go to File and go to Place, and I'll get Horton the elephant and open that up, and we'll stretch out a little. I accidentally just clicked, but that's okay. I'll do an auto fit there and drop in. Now I'm going to change the size of that a little bit all right, so we'll put Horton about right there. And again, I've got my auto fit. I'm going to give it a stroke. I'm going to bump that stroke up a little bit. I'll set my wrapping option, and then again I can work with these padding settings here as desired. Maybe I'll link that up this time so that the padding stays consistent all the way around the picture. Drop that in where I want, and the text is wrapping around the picture. All right, so really, the rest of it is just kind of keep going here. I'll do one more, File and Place, and I'm going to do the Lorax this time. So I'll get the Lorax and open it up. Oh, and now see there, and that could happen to you. I forgot to deselect, so I'll just do Control Z to undo, and now I get my little cursor that has the Lorax picture on it. Now, I'm not going to want this to be very big because that text area for the Lorax is not very big. All right, now on this one, you notice that it's got a transparent background. So I don't know that I'm going to do a stroke around. I might do a stroke around it. I guess I could. I'll do an auto fit, and I might just do a quick black stroke around that and set a wrapping option. That's looking pretty good. I did this time to wrap around the shape and maybe adjust the padding just a smidge, and that looks okay to me. All right, well, you're getting the idea. All right, I'm just going to put a picture of Sam I Am and thing 1 and thing 2 and Yertle the turtle and get them all in there. And these could be, these could be moved around because the wrapping option is set. You can move them around and put them someplace else, and the text should adjust to wherever it is they go. Okay. Once you get it all done, you get all the pictures in there, you have to save it on your network drive. So you'd have to go File and Save As and get to your network drive, your drive H, and save it there. And then take the finished file and drag it and drop it to your Turn In folder when you're all the way done with it. So folks, that's text wrapping. It's time for you to go to work.